I'm going to pass over to Jack that I was married to, and Jack, who is in a similar relationship with me to Jane and Michael, in that we are facets of the same soul. So Jack was my husband on earth, and Jack is my vibrational fit, my, how do I describe this? My absolute vibrational equal from the same soul. We are facets of the same soul sent out at the same time from God consciousness and have been together, therefore, since the point of our creation as individual facets of God. You talk on earth of soulmates, and there are soulmates. But don't colour that perception of soulmates as something that is linked solely to romance and a feeling of harmony. It is so much deeper than that. It is yourself handed to you as a friend, as a companion, as a connection that can never be broken. If you see that and feel that, then you are looking at part of your own soul, and you need to celebrate that connection. My mind was always mathematical. My mind still is mathematical and scientific. And I approached every aspect of my life as an equation. When I became ill and became paralyzed, I was able to look past the fear and understand on a spiritual level that this was taking place for a reason, and that paralysis was not an absolute. It was not something that would continue forever with me. It was part of the equation. So Jack comes to earth, Jack fulfills a certain job, Jack becomes paralyzed. Jack, as a result of becoming paralyzed, is able to help others as an example, but Jack is also understanding something in his soul mission about restriction, about centering himself and realizing that restriction is relative. I realized that my soul was still free. I realized that my cognitive functions were perfect still. And I realized that I could still contribute to life and to lives. Now, I wasn't on earth a spiritually minded man. I wasn't at all sure about what Joan was doing. But I supported her because she was my other half, because I wanted to support her and I wanted her to be happy. But I always had the feeling that the things that took place in my life were taking place for a reason. Even though I tended to dismiss the spiritual aspect, I knew that there was a deeper meaning to my life. And that is what I'd like to say to those of you who are perhaps suffering today, perhaps mentally, perhaps struggling with illness, perhaps in restrictive circumstances in your life. Don't look at those circumstances that are around you today as the absolute truth, as a block of granite that can never be shifted. They are one facet in an unfolding equation that will enable you to evolve and to understand more about creation. So it will be difficult, but try to detach yourself from the negative aspects of your life. Detach in that it helps if you can look at them as part of the whole. And if you look at them as part of the equation that leads to something, then their power over you, their negative power over you, subsides because you put them literally in their place. You look at them and understand that they are contributing to something. That if they were not there, surrounded by the other facets of the equation that you have written on the board of your life, if they were not there, then the equation wouldn't work out. It is like a scientist trying to find something that is faster than the speed of light and has got the equation exactly right apart from one small addition. And until that one small addition is there, the equation won't come out. The formula won't make sense. So what you are going through now, I'm not saying you have to welcome it. I know that for many of you, life is difficult, but the difficult bits fit into the equation. The difficult bits enable the equation to eventually make sense. And the difficult bits are tempering your spirit, just as you would perhaps make a sword in ancient times, and you would temper it and make it stronger and stronger and stronger through applying stress to it. This is what's happening to you. So I also want to say that when I got back to the higher vibrations that we now live in, now exist in, now express our consciousness in, I recognized them all. I recognized the house that is a construct that Joan and myself put together because we wanted a house in a certain way. I recognized the countryside around that house. I recognized the spirits that came to talk to us, as some as family, some as people that just looking in their face took me back hundreds of years, sometimes thousands of years, because written in their faces and in their auras were reflections of me having connected with them over many lifetimes. And so, having said that I wasn't a spiritual man, instantly that spirituality was inside me and around me when I left my paralyzed physical body behind. And it was quite a simple thing for me to move away from that belief of being paralyzed. Within seconds, although seconds is not the correct word, within seconds of leaving my physical body behind, I saw it blow away like a husk, like dead leaves in the wind. And I could move. Now, I could move quickly and easily because during my life I had recognized that the negative things in my life were part of the equation. Had I invested totally in that paralysis and believed in it, when I came into the higher vibrations, I wouldn't have been able to move until I had taught myself to believe in something else, to believe that I was whole, to believe that I was perfect. So what I am trying to say to you is distance yourself from the negative aspects so that you don't become locked into them. Recognize that they are a benefit to you, or you wouldn't be undergoing them. And recognize that they are simply of the earth. The pains are simply of the earth. The inability to move is simply of the earth. The oppression is simply of the earth and relates to the vibrations that influence your physical body. And the vibrations that influence your physical body are, as a result, are mostly negative as a result of the fall, and as a result of the beliefs of humanity. Because most people believe that they are ill, believe that things are going wrong, believe that this earthly life is all that there is. And I'm showing Michael a blackboard, and I am rubbing out the equation of my life, and I've cleaned it up, taken all the chalk off, and I now begin again with a different equation. That equation, as with Joan's, because we've decided to move on away from the earth, is one that will be built on more rarefied atoms and more rarefied vibrations. But it is another equation, and the previous equation is the conclusion of the previous equation is the start point of this new equation. So everything that we have done to this point enables us to start to write the next equation. In other words, we are moving forwards. We are moving into new territories together. We are moving into new and higher vibrations, and that is extremely exciting. Extremely exciting. And I want you to consider that for a moment. Perhaps today is a mundane day for you. Perhaps it is a sorrowful day for you. Perhaps it is a restricting day for you. Only for now. Only for now. And it serves its purpose as part of that greater equation that will then enable you to move on into more light-filled, more creative, more angelic, more godlike spheres. Have I said everything that I wish to say? Yes, except Michael used to see me after I had passed on, because as he sat with Joan, I used to come down a hill on a bike, on a bicycle that I once had. And the bicycle used to change colour according to what I wanted to say to Michael and to Joan. And I'm telling you this because we have dealt with some serious aspects of spirituality today, but you must not forget the lightness, the humour, the joy of existence on a spiritual level. Existence, I shouldn't say. The joy of being, the joy of realizing spiritual potential. And so I would come down this hill, because I was able to create whatever I wanted to create as an image, with my legs either side of this bike, freewheeling, coming down to bring a higher joyful vibration to Michael and Joan when they used to sit for spiritual communication. And that is what I want to leave you with, that higher vibration, that joy, that upliftment, that harmony. Those are the things that you are, not the heavy, what's the word? The heavy, pressured vibrations of the earth. Not those. That's not who you are. That's not what you deserve, so don't accept it. I asked Joan and Jack, or the spirits that are Joan and Jack, to communicate today, because I wanted to bring the souls that will listen to this, that will watch this, closer to us, closer to a remembrance of spiritual family. We must seem very distant and very lofty and very elevated when we talk to you. Michael describes me as being in coloured robes and surrounded in light. And yes, I am in coloured robes and I am surrounded by light, because freed from the physical, the light that we have built into our auras shines out. But that does not mean that I am divorced from humanity. That does not mean that I am someone to be revered. I am just like you. I am part of your family. And family is key to your current situation. Family is key to elevating the world into a new spiritual consciousness. Actually, an old spiritual consciousness that it has forgotten. Family. Everyone you look at is part of your family. True, there are greater soul connections, but every human being you meet is connected to you. It cannot be otherwise. And this realization is something that the world, that society, that humanity must come to now if it is ever to build the foundations of a harmonious spiritual global consciousness. It's very important. So look not for separation at this time. Look not for the ways in which you are different. Look for the ways, celebrate the ways in which you are the same. And you won't find those on the outside of a person. You won't find those in their approach to you, or the words that they say to you, or the ways that they judge you, but you will find that connection in their hearts. So if you want to see family, every day, with everyone that you meet, look into their hearts. Feel that heart connection. And in doing that, you will not only sense that they are part of you, but you will elevate their consciousness, and you will be absolutely surprised in the ways in which they respond to you. How much more loving, considerate, patient, understanding they can be. Because you are addressing not the hard shell of physicality that is infused with the negative aspects of this world. You are addressing the spirit that came from God, that is part of God, that is part of you. And if you only recognize that and refuse to recognize anything else, people change, situations change. I have exhausted Michael, I feel. But until I speak again, concentrate on family as a word that will take you out of what is happening at the moment. Family, family, family. Refuse to recognize anything else and see the change that comes about in people that you regard as such. Remember too that we are family. The reason I'm communicating is that we are family. We want to elevate your consciousness, restore your spiritual consciousness, bring you back into an atmosphere of love, of connection, of purpose, an atmosphere that has no fear in it, no dread in it, no pain in it. Simply an understanding of what you are, why you are here, where you are going, and a celebration of being. You can't ever not be. So celebrate that fact, and celebrate the fact that you are becoming increasingly creative, increasingly spiritual, and increasingly connected as this life allows you to evolve, teaches you, brings you back to us.
And I think we have come to a conclusion of the amazing talks here now. And that was summarized by PG, the Persian gentleman, at the end. But we had two separate talks by Joan and by Jack. And for me, that was pretty amazing, because Michael has spent contact years with Joan and Jack in physicality, and now we're hearing from them spiritually. Pretty amazing that can happen. Very few times I think that can happen, where you've known somebody in spirituality and get philosophy from them afterwards. I don't know whether Michael would be up for this. I haven't actually asked him. I can't ask him now, but I'd really like to go through some of the points that were raised by Joan and Jack in a short further video on mission and some of the other things that Joan talked about. I'm sure Michael will agree that there were so many important things came through here today. So two talks in one, two for the price of one, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. This is Soul Group 6, Part 1 and Part 2, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. God bless from Michael and from me.